Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Angelic Aura. If you clicked on this video, then that means you want to know how to awaken your divine feminine. And let me tell you, this is the second time I've tried to record this video because the first time I was outside and I almost got attacked by a vulture. How you pronounce some things? A vulture. Yes, a vulture. And that sounds a bit dramatic, but hear me out. Okay, I was outside chilling, the vibes were vibing, the light was giving. And I just see this big ass bird swooping down towards me. And I'm like, what the actual heck? Like, what? And so I was like, no, ma'am. And it happened twice. Like, I was like, oh my gosh. And so I'm thinking it's the ops. Okay. I'm thinking somebody don't want me to record this video. Okay. So I go inside and I look up like a spiritual meaning about what does it mean to see a vulture. And it was talking about when a vulture visits you in your life, vultures represent harmony and purification and cleansing. And it's because you know how they eat the things that are dead, and it's to not allow the disease from the dead things to spread, so they eat it before we can even like smell it, and it just spreads. And so it really talks about how vultures showing up in your life is a representation and a symbolization of reminding you that you are going, whatever you're going through, the transformational season, the death and the rebirth that you're experiencing, the pain, the hurt, it'll be okay. Okay, something spirit is going to come in like that vulture, and it's going to take away your pain. It's going to take away the thing that no longer serves you, the season that is over. And honestly, I think a lot of us are going through a very transformational season right now. I know I am. We're in the between space of being who we want to be versus who we used to be. And it can be painful. It can be bittersweet. And it can feel like a death. Okay. And so that was just a confirmation. That was a confirmation that it's about to be over with. The transformational season is about to end. It's coming to an ending. Okay. So if you're ready to finally step into your highest self, finally see your potential and accept yourself for who you truly are, which is a worthy being, okay? Someone who's worthy of all your desires, okay? Clearly you are, because you're here on this video, okay? So let's just go ahead and get into it, okay? Because you are ready. You're ready to awaken your divine feminine, all right? And I want to touch bases on that. Divine feminine is not just for masculine. I mean, it's not just for feminine, for women, okay? It's for men and women, okay? You can have feminine energy and masculine energy flowing through you no matter your gender, okay? And vice versa, okay? You can be a woman with divine masculine energy, okay? And so it's really more so about energy. It's not about appearance, and it's not about what you do for other people and, what you do. It's about who you are as a person, okay? So now that we've got that out of the way, because let me tell you, it was a crazy couple of hours this morning. This morning was crazy. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get into how you can awaken your divine feminine and attract abundance in that way, because we deserve it. We deserve abundance, and being in a healthy feminine energy can help with that. Okay. So the first step you want to do is be vulnerable. Become vulnerable. Be okay with being vulnerable. And that is because the divine feminine is someone who isn't afraid to show their emotions. They're not afraid to express themselves in any way. And they embrace their emotions. They embrace being vulnerable because that they know that strength lies in vulnerability. Let me tell you, I have been through so much that I'm now at the stage where I honor my resilience. I honor my past, and I embrace my past. I'm at peace with my past, because it taught me so much. It taught me about myself. It taught me how to love. It taught me, what I want more and what I don't want in life. And I realized that my feelings are clear indicators of what I want and what I don't want in life. And so when I learned to listen to that, it helps me make my life a lot easier. And it helps me to honor that. So being vulnerable. And when it's with men, men aren't afraid, real men aren't afraid to be vulnerable because they know that there's strength in that. They know that they need to express themselves as well. When you're in that toxic masculine energy, you hide yourself from that. You block that part of yourself off, and we need that part. We need that self-expression. We need the flowing of emotions because we're human, and we need that release because holding it in causes suffering. Okay, I was on a walk the other day. It was the beginning of Pisces season. Happy Pisces seasons anyway. Okay, if you're a Pisces, shout out to you, happy birthday. But I was on a nature walk, and I went by the water, and I just started crying and releasing. And I didn't know why I was crying. I just was, I just was releasing what needed to be released. And it made me realize that I needed that, like holding in all that built up emotion, holding in the tears and just emotions. That's suffering. Suffering is holding it in. Suffering is repressing. It's suppressing yourself. It's suppressing your emotions. Okay. And so when we think of shadow work and we think of healing and we think of things that hurt us and we turn away from it. And we can kind of get confused about turning away from the things, facing the things that hurt us. And knowing that we need to go through it, it can be scary. But once we realize that we're only suffering if we continue to turn away from it, okay? Because it's liberating. It's so liberating to go through it and to heal and to release, okay? That's how you open and begin to accept your divine feminine. That's how you begin to accept yourself. And you begin to accept your emotions, accept the fact that you need to release and you need to heal and cry and just let it out. Because crying is releasing. Crying is so healing. It's so healing. And not being afraid to cry around other people too. Of course, I would say, being around people that you trust being around to help you release that energy is a good thing. So yeah, being vulnerable. And this is how you know if someone else is like very I'm trying to find the right words, very just very just in their feminine energy, as if they're not afraid to be vulnerable with you. Of course, if they trust you, if they're not afraid to just express themselves. So yeah, another part of awakening your divine feminine, another step in that is compassion, showing compassion. And I'm looking at some notes to help me remember what I wrote down, but these are just some steps that I wrote down. It's real simple, real 5 steps. But showing compassion with yourself and others, accepting, like I said, accepting your past and showing compassion for your past, showing forgiveness for your past mistakes and decisions and things that you've been through. Showing compassion to other people, even to people who probably don't deserve it, bless them, send them some grace. Compassion has always been another key factor of going through life, or of a thing that you need to, go through life. Because we're all human and we all go through the same thing. And, I always like to say hurt people. And so when someone is moving out of hurt, the best way to respond to that person is with compassion. Because they aren't really aware. Sometimes they're not aware of the words they say or the things that they do, and it's because in their head, in their mind, they're hurting. And so they're not gonna act out of love. They're gonna act out of that hurt and that pain. So but what you can do is respond compassionately, because they need it. They need that compassion more than you do. They need that healing energy more than you do. So that's a good way to channel your divine feminine, to awaken your divine feminine, because the divine feminine is very nurturing. She's very nurturing. She is abundant. Okay, she's exquisite. I don't know why I wanted to say that word, but she is exquisite and emotionally intelligent. Okay, so compassion is very pivotal to show, and it's hard. It's hard to show compassion. Like, this is easier said than done. Okay, you have to work on that heart space. Like I said, focus on forgiving and trusting. Okay, creating a space for yourself to trust yourself. Create a safe space for you to release emotions and show compassion. It's okay to be nice and kind to other people. Some people really have a hard time being compassionate, and I know from experience. There was a while, I want to say 2022, when I was just really angry. I was angry at the world. I was angry at things that weren't working out for me. And so compassion was just not, I just had a really closed off heart space. And so I couldn't show compassion to myself or to other people. And I was moving out of hurt. I was moving out of anger. Understand that hurt is the root of anger. Okay, so when people are angry, it's because they're hurt. It's because a part of them has been betrayed and let down from someone that they love deeply. And so when you forgive that, then you allow that compassion to flow in and that forgiveness to flow in. And your heart space starts to open, and you realize you don't forgive for them, but you forgive for yourself, because you're ready to move on. You're ready for that peace. Okay? So moving on. Moving on from being vulnerable and being compassionate. What do we have next? Nurture your mind. And I was going to feel some type of way about looking at notes, but I'm not perfect. And I don't have my glasses on, so I really can't see. I can't see. And, my notes are far away. I'm very, I'm farsighted, or I'm nearsighted. So, they're like right there, but like I cannot read from here. And I was going to be like, I was going to feel some type of way about looking at my notes and reading from them while I'm telling you. But then it's just like, I'm so done with trying to look perfect and trying to please everyone, especially with the content. Like, I know I'm getting off topic, but I just want to put this out there. Like, especially with people creating content nowadays, like, everyone is probably so filled with peer pressure on having things look a certain way and be a certain way, and expectations and stuff. And I was that person, and now I just don't care. I don't want to care either. Like, I don't, like, come on now, like, who cares? All I'm literally doing is giving you advice on how to open up your feminine energy and how to attract more abundance. And if I have to do it from my notes, then that's fine. Like, it really doesn't matter. That's a part of being feminine. Like, you're so unapologetic with who you are and so accepting. Like, as long as I like myself and as long as I fuck with what I got going on, then that's all that matters. I do it for me. So when it comes to you, do it for you. And whoever fucks with it, they fuck with it. And whoever doesn't fuck with it, they don't fuck with it. Okay, keep it moving. All right, back to subject. I know I got off guard. But nurture your mind, body, and your soul. And that's another way to awaken your divine feminine energy, is to nurture yourself. Remother yourself, okay? It's kind of like going back to shadow work. unlearning the things that you were taught that kind of hurt you, and replacing it with what you want to know, with what serves you now in your life, because growing up, we've been conditioned by our parents, and now that we're older, sometimes their teachings does not align with who we are or who we want to be, you know. So remothering yourself and nurturing yourself through the process. Okay, and I have some tips on the ways you can nurture yourself, your mind, body, and your spirit. And I have read. Okay, reading is fundamental. And honestly, I'm gonna be honest, like when I first got back into spirituality, like I was not a reader. Like I did not like to read. And when I got into spirituality, I started reading. And I don't know what it was about it. It's just it works for me. Like reading helps me to it just helps me gain more knowledge and gain more wisdom. And the divine feminine is a very wise energy, and she's very intuitive. Okay. So when you're reading, you're stepping away from the distractions. You're stepping away from social media, okay? Comparing yourself to other people. You're removing yourself from that, and you're feeding your mind with more valuable, abundant knowledge, okay? And even if you're reading something that's solely based for entertainment, like pleasure reading, still like it's better to activate your imagination than it is to sit in front of a screen all day. So reading is beautiful, and it helps awakening your divine feminine. And of course, you don't have to do that. It's just something that helps. Another thing is the food you eat, because as a divine feminine, you have to, well, I don't want to say you have to, because free will, but it is good to be aware of the food that you consume, because energy is everything. And once you are working on yourself and you realize that the divine feminine is the type of energy where you have to be mindful of the energy you consume, and you have to be mindful of how you take care of yourself and how you view your body, how you take care of your body. And so it's just like when it comes to the food that you eat, is it helping your body grow? Is it helping you nurture your body? And so that's why you see a lot of spiritual people are vegan and vegetarian. Okay, it's not because it's not an aesthetic. Like some people could be faking it, but it's really just because like they would rather consume a food that helps them feel alive. They would rather consume food that nurtures their body and helps heal their body. Okay, the divine feminine is it's always healing, it's always nurturing themselves, and so they feed themselves with nurturing food and nurturing tools, like reading and eating fruits and veggies and being out in the sun, because they know that these things are helping them grow. They know that these things are vital to their bodies, to their physical bodies, and their spirit, to their spirit selves. Okay, and we have nothing, the soul. Nourishing your soul, you can do that with kind words. Okay, speaking life into yourself, speak life into yourself, feed life into yourself. Okay, the divine feminine, once you doing these things, makes you just feel like it makes you feel like a whole another person. It makes you feel brand new, and you feel happy, and you don't feel sluggish or depressive. It gives you a purpose. Okay, excuse me. And so just another way you can just nurture your body, nurture your mind, is be kind to your mind. How do you speak to yourself? How do you view yourself? How do you carry yourself? How do you treat yourself? Mother yourself. When I say mother yourself, that's exactly what I mean. How would you treat yourself as a child? You know? And that helps awakening your divine feminine and also forgiving your mother wound. That is something that I would say I'm still practicing doing. I've started a while back and I'm still working on it. But forgiving my mother and understanding and realizing that she is a woman. She was a child before this. She had a life before she had me. And sometimes I need to remind myself that she's doing the best that she can with what she has and with what she knows, because she's not going through the process that I'm going through. She doesn't really give herself space to heal from the things that she went through, and that's just because of her conditioning. And I'm blessed to have the privilege to heal from the things that I've been through. And I'm healing my ancestors through this work. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like when I think of my mother, sometimes I have to show her compassion. I have to find a place in my heart to reason with her and relate to her, because I can relate to her. And so that helps awaken your divine feminine. And not only does that help, when you forgive your mother, but also it helps with just the woman wound, wound, okay? Because women, we've been taught to put ourselves against each other, jealousy and comparisons and all that other stuff. It's just like we've grown up in such the toxic masculine society where they make us each other our competition, when we are not. Like, you cannot compare us to each other. We are uniquely designed in our own way, and to compare yourself to someone else is like it's just rude to God. Okay, it's rude to the divine feminine. And I believe that God is both the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Okay, but we're not gonna talk about God right now. That's just my views. Like, when I think of God, I think of both feminine and masculine energy. I think of mother and father. Okay, like the that is them. Okay, so, but yeah, comparing yourself to other people, no, it's not. It's not helpful in your journey. And yes, we all do it, and we've been taught to do that. But stray away from it. Distance yourself. When you catch yourself wishing you had what someone else had, when you catch yourself being jealous of the way that someone looks, or whatever the case may be, become aware. And that's another step, actually. That is actually step number 4. Step number 4 of awakening your divine feminine. And it is to become more aware of yourself and your thoughts and your actions and your emotions, okay? Like I said, the divine feminine energy is extremely emotionally intelligent, okay, and wise. So you have to be aware of your thoughts, because if you get caught up in the world, if you get caught up in judging yourself and judging others and comparing yourself in jealousy and envy and greed and vanity and all this other stuff, you get caught up in it, then you lose yourself. And you should value yourself, because you are the most important thing here on this earth is your life, okay? So, yeah. And you just really have to see yourself as a garden. If you don't have a garden, that's okay. So, but think of yourself as someone who needs to be tended to, someone who needs to be nurtured and watered and shine on, okay? You are a garden, and whatever you seed into yourself is going to grow. It's going to produce. So are you going to produce good seeds or bad seeds? Okay, I'm really taking y'all to church here. Okay, come on now. But yeah, that's how the divine feminine works. That's how the divine feminine works. Is a garden. You have to treat yourself as a garden. Be really mindful, okay, of the energy you surround yourself with. Who are you associating yourself with? What is your environment? What influences you? Okay, be aware, because it's really important. Do you want to be easily influenced to have others think for you and you know, have social media? Do you really want social media to influence you and your choices and your thoughts? Okay. And who do you associate yourself with? Be mindful of the people you surround yourself with. Are they helping you grow? Are they inspiring you to take action on your growth, on your healing, you know? Are these people good to be around? Do you trust them to be vulnerable with? Okay? In your environment. Is your environment, you are a product of your environment. We are all products of our environment. So, where are you? Where are you? Are you always going to be in a club on a Friday night or a Saturday night? Or are you going to go to a park and read and have a picnic? You know? Are you going to church? Are you, you know, finding a hobby, something that's productive, something that you know, ignites that creativity? So yeah, be aware. And the last thing we have to do awakening your divine feminine is, looking at my little list, listen and feel more. Yes, listen and feel more. Because I always think that the divine feminine is someone, you know, who trusts her intuition. And you aren't going to be able to listen and trust your intuition if you're surrounded by these distractions, and if you aren't nurturing yourself, if you know, have that emotional disconnect, if you're not being vulnerable. So I always like to say, listen more and talk less. Because when you listen more and you're being more observant, then, you know, being more aware, then you can hear your intuition a lot better. Okay? Meditate more. And there's nothing wrong with being logical. Okay? Sometimes you need that masculine energy, the logic to help you through certain situations, but you're also going to need the balance of that feminine energy, that intuition, trusting your gut. How do you feel? How does this make you feel? You know? And understanding your emotions too. How does it make you feel? And I'm telling you, this will definitely help attract abundance, because when you're attracting abundance into your life, you have to know that you're worthy. And so when you're doing this healing work and you're doing these steps to help awakening your divine feminine, you're basically opening yourself up to receive prosperous abundance, opening yourself up to receive, to be receptive. And that's another thing. Toxic femininity is not receptive. It's not asking for help, because you're so stubborn and wanting to be independent. And there's nothing wrong with being independent, but you're blocking your blessings. Okay, there are people who probably want to help you, and you can't do it all on your own, and it's okay to have other people around you. I think that's what a lot of women go through, you know, especially the trauma. They're so used to having to do everything all on their own, especially if they've grown up in a single household or a single mother household. You know, like I was talking about my mother, you know, she grew up in a 2-parent household, but like, you know, her father had infidelity issues, and so just like that trauma and stuff. And now I grew up in a 2-parent household, but you know, my mother is literally like both the man and the woman in the relationship. So you see what I'm saying? So I have to heal from that. I have to realize, like, I don't want that in my marriage. I want it to be a divine balance of both energies, you know? Like, I know I can handle it, but I don't have to. You see what I'm saying? Okay, and you really don't want to. Like, majority women don't want to. Like, you don't have to, and you don't have to. Like, why should you anyway? Like, you can. Of course you can. Of course you can. But, like, you don't have to, you know? So, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you learn all you need to and accept everything. And yeah.